Hi, I'm Kathy Havis with Safewise. We recently got an email from one of our subscribers named Sherry, and I want to read that to you. She said, I'm looking for an affordable GPS tracker for my son. I think he's too young for a smartwatch, and your top-rated GPS tracker, AngelSense, is out of my budget. Are there any alternatives that cost less but are still dependable? Thank you so much for your question, Sherry, and it is a good one. There really aren't a lot of options out there for parents who want a GPS tracker for their kids that isn't embedded in a smartwatch or a phone and doesn't cost as much as an AngelSense, which honestly is a fantastic tracker, but I understand that it's not feasible for everybody to pay. It starts at $45 per month and up, and that is expensive for a lot of people. So I have found 3 contenders that I think fit the bill, and I'm going to put them to the test. In this video, I'm going to put 3 screenless kids GPS trackers to the test. I've got the Tack GPS Plus, the BOT Talk, and the Tracki. I'm also going to talk about some alternatives at the end of this video, so stick around. We're at the same baseball field where I tested the GPS location accuracy of the kids' smartwatches, and I thought that would be a great way to do the same exact kind of tests on these kids' GPS trackers. So let's start with the good news. The good news is that the Tracki ended up being accurate and no complaints. It knows exactly where we are in relation to the ball field, and if I need to, I can ask it for a real-time location update where it automatically refreshes the location. That's pretty much it for the good news though. The bad news is that both the BOT Talk and the Tack GPS Plus think that I'm in the neighborhood over there. Also, neither of these would let me do a live location update. That means there's no way to refresh and see where these are in this precise moment. You have to wait for the location interval update to change. Now on the Tack GPS Plus, you can go into the settings on the app and you can turn on emergency tracking mode where it updates every 2 minutes. But for some people, that is still too long of a wait. On the BOT Talk, there is no special emergency tracking mode. It's either the 1.5 minute updates or the 3 minute updates. That's all you've got to choose from. So right now, I would say just from a location accuracy standpoint and peace of mind, it's the Tracki. For our second GPS test, we have introduced some obstacles between us and the satellites. Nothing as crazy as you get inside a house, but we're inside a car under a tree. The results are basically the same as in the open field test. The Tracki is the most accurate. It knows where we are. It's maybe like a few feet off, like it thinks I'm just across the street there just a little bit. Whereas the Tack and the BOT Talk, both of these think that I'm way over there in the neighborhood. And actually, my biggest concern is that neither of these have updated according to their supposed location update intervals. So it's been about 20 minutes since I last checked their locations over at the ball field, and they have not updated since. So again, the Tack should have updated twice by now, and the BOT Talk should have updated like 7 times by now. For the final GPS accuracy test, I came over to a neighbor's house to see how it performed, because I know how it's been performing at my house. And once again, the Tracki was accurate, and I really appreciated being able to do that live refresh. The Tack GPS Plus and BOT Talk say that I'm across the street, which is the most accurate they've been so far in these tests. I think the location tracking technology in those 2 devices has got to be really similar because they keep pinging the same inaccurate locations. But so far, the Tracki has really impressed me on these tests, and not so much the BOT Talk and Tack GPS. Let's review what geofencing is. Geofencing is where you use really precise GPS coordinates to set up a virtual boundary around your home, around school, anywhere, and you get notifications when the device enters or leaves those boundaries. Now on the Tracki, you can set boundaries that are square or rectangle. You can set up completely custom shapes on the BOT Talk. And on the Tack GPS Plus, it is always a circle. And if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know that I have complained in the past about it always being a circle. So I love the fact that you can make custom boundaries with the BOT Talk, and that Tracki tries to mix it up a little bit by offering squares and rectangles. I can tell you that as I've been sitting here filming this in my house, I have been getting email notifications coming through telling me that the Tracki has left my geofence boundary and come back into my geofence boundary, and I can assure you it has been sitting right here next to me the whole time. So I can tell you right now that the Tracki is prone to some false alarms. But do these geofences actually work? Well, let's see. Okay, we have finished the geofencing tests, and the BOT Talk was the one that triggered a notification first, shortly after I exited the boundary. The Tracki gave us the next notification about double the length of the boundary, about a minute or two later as we were walking out. So not perfect, but decent. And then the Tack GPS Plus was significantly delayed. It gave a notification just on schedule with its usual location interval update, which is 10 minutes. And that means that you might wait up to 10 minutes to get a notification that your child left the geofence with this device. Moving on to battery life. This was actually really challenging for me to compare. I usually like to even the playing field by making sure all of the devices have the same or very similar settings, but that proved tricky this time around. Battery life is highly dependent on how often these devices communicate with GPS satellites. So if you want really frequent location updates, you can expect a shorter battery life. And that's where it got tricky. With these 3 devices, I couldn't get them all on the same location update interval. In fact, I couldn't even get them sort of close. The Tracki has the most flexible location update interval options. With the starter plan, you can choose a minimum of every 60 seconds, then every 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You can even go up to every hour, and so on. With the BOT Talk, you've only got 2 options. You can get updates every minute and a half or every 3 minutes. And with the Tack GPS Plus, on a standard subscription plan, you can get location updates every 60 minutes or every 10 minutes, and also every 2 minutes. But if you choose the every 2-minute option, it only lasts for 1 hour. It's considered emergency tracking mode, and then it will revert back to updating every 10 minutes. So really, the best option I have for testing these batteries is to put this on 10 minutes, put the Tracki on 10 minutes, and leave the BOT Talk at 3 minutes. The other thing that makes testing battery life kind of tricky on these devices is that the Tack GPS Plus and the BOT Talk, they don't actually show a percentage of battery life on the app. Both just show visualizations of how much battery life is left, like a green circle that's like not full all the way, or a little icon that has some bars missing. So I can't give precise readings on these, but I can give a precise reading on the Tracki. Because each of these devices can potentially last up to like 30 days with their battery life, I actually started prepping for this test video back in January. I wanted them to drain the battery as fast as possible. And the Tracki ended up lasting about 2 weeks, whereas the BOT Talk and the Tack GPS Plus actually lasted 3 to 4 weeks, and I actually didn't turn off at all by the time I needed to recharge them for another set of testing. So I feel very confident in saying that they can last up to 30 days. The Tracki can also last a really long time, but you have to really optimize the location interval settings and potentially get a secondary battery, which is more for things like item tracking and vehicle tracking. For kids tracking, you're probably going to be fine charging these devices more often. But to split hairs, the Tracki did have the shortest battery life of all these devices. Now let's talk about communication and SOS. Now the BOT Talk is really the only other kids GPS tracker I could find besides AngelSense that doesn't have a screen and offers two-way communication. However, it does not let you have a conversation in real time. Your child can use this to record a brief voice message, and then you can use the app to record a brief voice message back. Voice messages are delivered according to your location update interval settings. So if you have it set to every minute and a half, you can expect it to take about a minute and a half for the voice messages to go through versus 3 minutes for the 3-minute setting. I was a little skeptical about this before testing because I read reviews where people said that messages were significantly delayed, like 30 minutes. But honestly, it worked fine for me. I had no issues. They came through as expected, just a slight delay, and the audio quality sounded really good. So I'm going to play you a clip of that now. Hi, I'm just testing the audio for the BOT Talk, and hope it comes through crystal clear. And just so you know, there's no separate SOS button on the BOT Talk. It's just that communication button, which is hidden in the middle of the screen here. That's all that it has. Whereas on the Tracki, it has a dedicated SOS button. And on the Tack GPS Plus, it has a little button here. In those cases, it will send a push notification to your phone saying that the SOS button was pressed. Tracki will also send you emails right away if you set that up. But one potential downside with the BOT Talk not having a dedicated SOS function is that you might not realize that your child has sent you a voice message in an emergency. It doesn't differentiate between, hey, this is just a normal voice message and this is an emergency voice message. Finally, let's consider cost. Now I'm going to be doing a lot of reading off my paper here, so bear with me. The BOT Talk, it comes in at the lowest price. It costs about $60 up front, plus about $60 to $84 per year, depending on the plan that you choose. Next up is the Tack GPS Plus, which costs $60 to $80 up front, depending on whether you get the normal Tack GPS or the Tack GPS Plus. And the difference there is that the Plus offers you indoor elevation tracking and fall detection. There are standard and premium plans for both of those devices. They cost the same. And the standard plan costs you about $125 per year, and the premium plan will cost about $150 per year, depending on the payment interval that you choose. Finally, there's the Tracki, which is the most expensive. For the long term, it costs only about $15 up front, but it can cost you anywhere from $240 to $360 per year, depending on whether you want the smallest interval updates to be 60 seconds or all the way down to 15 seconds. It is time to talk results, and there is a clear winner, but I'm also not really happy with the winner. So I have to give it to the Tracki because I believe parents' number one question when they are shopping for a tracking device is the tracking accurate? Is the tracking helpful? And the only one where I can honestly, confidently say yes in all circumstances that I tested is the Tracki. I love that live update refresh feature. I like how many location update intervals you can choose from 60 seconds all the way to an hour and even, more than an hour. And it was accurate. It was the second to respond in the geofence test. It wasn't precisely accurate with the geofencing, but it got the job done pretty quickly. Whereas the Tack GPS Plus, for example, waited a whole 10 minutes to tell us that the device had exited the geofence. The reason I'm not happy with that being the best performer is that it's really not designed for kids. It was kind of a throw-in option of like, okay, this one's really popular with people. Let's just see how it does. But it has an SOS button. That is a good thing. There is a way to communicate. And I like that the SOS button sends parents an email and a push notification. So if you're on your laptop, not necessarily your phone, there's a way for you to get a notification about that the SOS button has been pressed. There are also two buttons, the left and right buttons, that supposedly can be programmed to also send like preset messages, but that is something that did not work for me. I had to consult customer service and they said it was set up, it was fine, it should be going through, but I was never getting push notifications for that. So that is something that I still have to troubleshoot with customer service. Other than that, there's no communication option, really. I really was hoping that the BOT talk was going to end up being a lot better than it is because of these options. That's at least the one where if your child gets into trouble and needs your help, you can communicate with them somewhat about what is going on. So I think that it's important to be able to communicate through these GPS tracking emergency devices with your kids. The messaging and the audio quality for the BOT talk worked, but my issue with it is, of course, that it's not an accurate GPS tracker. And if it's just gonna stop updating, that's a problem. If you can't get a live refresh, that's a problem. It did do okay with the geofencing, that's good. And the Tack GPS Plus had the same problems as the BOT, where it just stopped updating. It was not helpful at all with geofencing, and it has the least helpful location interval update settings. So I'm kind of bummed about all three. The Tracki is also the most expensive, which makes me hesitate to recommend it for a lot of people. But, sometimes it's worth paying for that accuracy. These just didn't really cut it. If you really want something screenless, I would go with the Tracki, but just know that it is kind of expensive for a device that isn't tailor-made for kids. I wish I had a better recommendation, Sherry, and to all of my viewers out there. But let's talk about some other alternatives. Before you buy the winner in this video, I want to tell you about 4 other options. I definitely want to mention AngelSense because it is hands down the best kids GPS tracker. We've tested it before. It is accurate. It is extremely powerful. It has incredible emergency tools for the moment when your child actually does go missing or elopes. Now, as Sherry pointed out in her email, AngelSense can be pricey. It starts at about $45 per month. But if you feel like it's not a matter of if your child goes missing or elopes, but a matter of when, I highly recommend AngelSense. And that $45 per month ends up being about $540 per year and up. The device itself is free, so there's no extra upfront cost there. Another option, of course, is kids' smartwatches. Now, they're going to have a much shorter battery life of only about a day, and they do introduce some potential distractions because they do have screens and some different things that you can do, but they have more robust SOS features and communication features than any of the 3 devices that I tested here today. So if you want video calling, even just voice calling in real time, audio drop-in features, SOS buttons that blast your phone and say it's an emergency, you might want to check out kids' smartwatches instead. Bluetooth trackers may also be an affordable option if you live in a populated area. If you're a rural family, they are not going to cut it because the way they work is they determine a location of the tracker itself by pinging off of the Bluetooth signals of other devices in the area. And if your child is, let's say, in the woods with no Bluetooth devices anywhere, then that signal is going to go silent and you are not going to know where that tracker is. You can find some Bluetooth trackers that have SOS buttons, but you're not going to be able to find any that have like communication features or anything like that. All right, my 4th suggestion is going to sound a little bit like out of left field here, but it is a pet GPS tracker. My favorite is Tractive. I use it with my own animals, and that's how I know that it is really good at real-time tracking. It basically turns your phone into a compass and tells you how far you have to travel and in what direction to travel in order to find the tracker. And I know that some Bluetooth trackers trackers do the same thing. So if you like that feature of Bluetooth trackers, but you need GPS reliability in rural areas, then consider a pet tracker. It's not going to have the communication features and the SOS features because it's for animals, but it could be a good backup. I mean, go ahead and get one for your dog and then, you know, use it for your kid as needed and just try it out. I think they're pretty cool. So all of that said, Sherry, I hope this video helped you find an option for your son, and I hope it helped all of our other viewers know the pros and cons of the different devices out there to help you all find something that is right for your family. Comment if you have any questions or you want to request another review. I've got many more product reviews and content coming down the pike, so just stay tuned. And as always, make sure you visit the links in the description below to get all the details in my written reviews, and subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out. And I will see you in the next one.